And we are live. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to the Gem into Crypto, episode 1162. Today is Monday, October 30th, 2023, and I'm King, here to bridge the gap between community and crypto, most days, Monday through Friday at 10ish. And today's top stories. Woo! All right, Gemini sues Genesis over GBTC shares used as earned collateral, now worth $1.6 billion. Wall Street Journal corrects misciting Hamas crypto terrorism article saying that they funded terrorism data. Gary Gensler's Bitcoin ETF position is inconsistent, says Gary Gensler. And last but not least, Kraken will share 42,000 users data with the IRS. But first and foremost, of course, let's go ahead and look at these prices on the day. Go ahead and check out what's happening in the world of crypto. I see the fear and greed index has pumped up again. So it looks like people are still as excited as they were last week. That's always good news to see. And I think this excitement is going to go into the holiday. So we'll see. But as you can see here, Bitcoin's coming in hot at $34,811, up 1.35%. Ethereum, $1,825, up 1.98%. Number 5, Ripple at 57 cents, up 4.22%. Number 9, Dogecoin at 7 cents, up 1.22%. And number 10, Tron at 9 cents, up 0.55%. Trending tokens are Polygon, Matic up 2.43%, Pax Dollar, and Dogecoin. And the fear and greed index has went up one more point to 72. Super greedy here. Bitcoin dominance has dropped 0.1% at 52.9, and Ethereum has went up 0.1% at 17.1% as well. So those are your prices on the day. Hope everybody had a great weekend, ready to get off to a great week. It's a busy week, a lot going on. Hopefully we get some more happenings in the news stream, but of course, as always, we'll be kind of going off of how much news is popping out for the show, but no worries. Hopefully we get a lot. Like I said, BK Crypto is going on. How many developer, level 99 Slacker, Blockchain Bully, Ox Jerial, or is that 0x probably as in the TX type, or an address. Get you a full Bitcoin. Stop making excuses, says Jake Fever. There you go. You know it. Top story of the day. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Gemini said, hey, we're not taking this BS no more. We want our money, and we want it now. That's right. Genesis wants to use the shares' initial value and claims and is not releasing additional collateral transferred by DCG, the suit claims. Again, this is one of the little dirty tricks of the trade here in the crypto world, where some of these projects and companies will try to hold on to your crypto or Bitcoin or whatever else for as long as possible to make as much money out of it and then give it back to you. That's why this whole protecting you and all this other stuff and having hosted wallets, as they say, instead of self-hosted wallets, custodial wallets like those from Coinbase or the Geminis of the world and things like that, the centralized wallets, all these things aren't good because these projects and platforms want the capital for themselves. They want to make money and then they'll pay you back if they have it. So again, this is going to the court officially, as that animation just showed, as that photo just showed. But crypto exchange Gemini filed an adversary proceeding against bankrupt crypto lender Genesis Global Holdco in the Southern District of New York Bankruptcy Court on October 27th. At issue is the fate of 62,886,586 shares of Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. They were used as collateral to secure loans made by 232,000 Gemini users to Genesis through the Gemini Earn program. That collateral is currently worth close to $1.6 billion. According to the suit, Gemini has received $284.3 million from foreclosing on the collateral for the benefit of Earn users, but Genesis has disputed the action, preventing Gemini from distributing the proceeds. Gemini is like, we want the money for the people. Genesis has also proposed using the initial value of the collateral, which was more than $800 million, to determine the Earn users' deficiency claim rather than the foreclosure value. Again, these are those dirty tricks. Let's go back to when Bitcoin was worth X amount instead of this amount and to give you it back, whereas it's like that's not the way crypto works. As the foreclosure value is greater than the initial value, Genesis would thus free up hundreds of millions of dollars for distribution to other creditors. But it was Gemini who bore the market risk related to the initial collateral for the benefit of Earn users following the foreclosure. So it follows that Earn users are entitled to any gain resulting from Gemini taking on that risk. I mean, listen, bottom line is the user is definitely entitled to all the correct amount of Bitcoin, not what Bitcoin was worth at one time. That's ridiculous. If they're owed 3 Bitcoin, give them the 3 Bitcoin. You don't say, well, they're owed $50,000. No one talks like that, especially on this side of the fence. So that's ridiculous to even assume that. So to me, that already shows a dirty trick. And now if they're saying that, hey, Gemini should bear the responsibility of that change since they went through them. Okay, maybe you have a fight there, but to actually say that they don't even deserve the change is absolutely insane. Um, I, this is tricky. This is going to be tricky, and this actually might. Well, it's not even a might. They already brought it to the court, so it's definitely going to have some regulatory intervention. Or at the end of this thing, we probably will get some regulatory guidance moving forward. But yeah, they're probably going to make some type of guidance where it's like, all right, whatever companies launching the fund, or whatever, you're responsible for paying it back, regardless of what it is, or the company that's dealing with the capital or everything that's custodian the crypto that's supposed to be the one who's actually the market maker and provide liquidation. If you don't have the capital, then you have to go through these steps. I'm sure we're going to see some guidance, but even from a self-regulatory point of view, it'll be good to see either Gemini or Genesis come out and say, hey, this is why we think things should be X, Y, Z, with again kind of standard operating procedure. So not sure we see this. This is definitely ugly. Talking about $1.6 billion at stake. A lot of customer funds in the United States government, Department of Justice, officially being hot on the trail of this. They're not taking this lightly either. So this is going to be another big thing. Like I said, I'm more or less interested to see what happens next. Like, what will be the procedure made from this? Because it's definitely going to set precedent now that this is the second or third large fiasco where you don't have customer funds at the end of the day here in recent terms. So it's unfortunate to see. It looks like Gemini argued a determination giving effect to the terms of the security agreement, confirming Gemini's proper foreclosure on the initial collateral and recognizing the earned user's rights to the additional collateral would facilitate the return of more than $1 billion in digital assets that Genesis has wrongfully withheld from earned users for nearly a year. Gemini earned users comprise 99% of Genesis creditors. Woo, goodness gracious. And their suit claims, and their claims represent 28% of all claims by value, according to the suit. So, of course, Genesis is bankrupt, has been since January. But with $1 billion on the books still, they need to come up with some money from somewhere. So remains to be seen how this is going to turn out, but it's definitely going to heat up. It's election season coming up. Nothing more than a New York politician would like than a big crypto victory or a big crypto resolution in the excess of $1 billion. Like, I mean, any politician that can figure this thing out in the next few months to a year before the next election cycle hits fully, I mean, they are going to be winning. To say, hey, yeah, that $1.6 billion fiasco with the two crypto companies, my team solved that. We make sure we protect the end user and you get your money back in this crazy crypto world. Like, that's going to be a talking point if they can figure it out. So we'll see what happens with that. Let's see. Jake said, no keys, no cheese. Lawsuits are abundant in bear markets too. Bankruptcy is as well. Yeah, gotta give Bitcoin for Bitcoin. Exactly. Nobody want to hear about this dollar amount. Oh, it was 800 million then. It's 1 point. Whoa there, buddy. No one cares. I want my Bitcoin. Let's see. Crypto Burger, what's going on? Is an epic Bitcoin rally on the horizon. Many analysts predict a $48,000 surge by mid-November. I think that's a little crazy, especially with things like this coming down the pike. Depending on what can happen with Genesis and Gemini, if that gets ugly, then maybe no. Like, if Gemini or Genesis does need to pay that money back. A couple of things. First, they would need to borrow it, more or less likely, which means they're going to be putting another institution or crypto company in kind of hot water as far as looking out for them. And then those same people, after this experience, may pull their money and pull their capital. So it's not to say that they'll stay in there, but mid-November, I'm trying to think. Was it 35 now? Nah, I think that's a little too much. I think that's too excessive, person. I think 48, unless something amazing. I mean, barring a crypto ETF, if we get a Bitcoin ETF, then yeah, I can see that pump. But no Bitcoin ETF, everything is just as usual. I don't know. I think we'll still be barely breaking. We might be lucky to touch 40 by mid-November, but that's my thoughts. We'll see what happens. Let's see. Humney said, but then again, them folks agreed to the terms and conditions. Hey, I agree with that as well. Was it I can't think of his name. I think it was Ben off the top of my head. Won the Bitcoin. No, I can't think of his name. I see his face. Jimmy Song, there it is. When Jimmy Song came on our show and he said that, hey, when people hack things or exploit these smart contracts, they're not actually exploiting or hacking them. They're just carrying out the smart contract, right? The smart contract was built so that you could take a pool of money out of it. Then it's not a hack. It's literally executing the smart contract. So I'm with you, Humney developer. They executed the contract. Nowhere did it say that this is yours. It's being held by a centralized place. We know how that goes. They don't have it anymore. You don't get it back. It is what it is. Terms and conditions. I agree with you. I get it. Let's see. Jake said the users are stupid. They get what they get trying to play yield games when Bitcoin increases in value insanely by itself. Greed gets you punished. That is also true as well. A lot of people would think that as well. So, yeah, Humney said people still think exchanges are wallets. I promise you all, we have so much further to go. I agree as well. We are very far away. Let's see. Jake said, I thought 35K by Christmas, but now 47K by Christmas. All right, that's another month. They said mid-November. We're talking Christmas. 47 still high. I can see a 42, 44 for sure. And that's if things are just on the up and up. That's if things are on the up and up. So we'll see. All right. Other than that, let's get to this next story. Wall Street Journal has finally corrected its misciting Hamas crypto terrorism funding data. Not in its entirely, but they did make some small corrections. I don't know. It's still interesting to me that more people aren't calling this out. Well, I won't say more. I did see from the written point of view, a lot of major news publications were calling out the Wall Street Journal. Now, to be fair, Wall Street Journal is their competition, so they were more or less likely calling it out to be like, look, this is who y'all get y'all news from. But still, I'm glad to see some people call it out, their competitors, but it'd be better to see this actually being called out on the federal level since it had federal implications. 20% of those working Congress, Senate, White House, whatever, Congress, Senate decide to write a letter to the White House. To me, that has some implications on the federal level, so it should be discussed at that level. But again, the Wall Street Journal has partially corrected an article that mischaracterized the extent to which Hamas and other militant groups have been funding its terrorist activities with cryptocurrencies. The October 10th article titled Hamas Militants Behind Israel Attack Raised Millions in Crypto cited blockchain forensics firm Elliptic and said Palestinian Islamic Jihad, PIJ, a terrorist organization operating in the Gaza Strip, raised as much as $93 million between August 2021 and June of 2023. And the site Elliptic and Israel's counterterrorism unit seized PIJ linked wallets, which was $93 million over that time frame, so they said. However, Elliptic clarified that this did not mean PIJ raised these funds to finance its terrorism activities. Research from blockchain forensics firm Chainalysis suggests only $450,000 of these funds were sent to a known terrorism affiliated wallet. Really quick, I want to point out the Wall Street Journal and the Chainalysis link has not even been talked about. If you remember, Chainalysis is working directly with the government. I mean, they literally have government contracts to do blockchain analysis, essentially forensics, figuring out what wallet, what capital went to what wallet, and who owns it and where it goes. They've been doing this for the government. They have government contracts. So for the Wall Street Journal and the government at large, where you talk about those 20% of politicians and regulators and everyone else in between who decided to try to push legislation based off an article by a private company, when you look at all this, why didn't any of these people, Wall Street Journal, including on the federal level, include the Chainalysis research? Because they include Chainalysis for everything else. Like literally, Chainalysis fits the government's narrative for about 99% of things happening in crypto. They want Chainalysis. They're paying them. Show me where all these bad actors are at. X, Y, Z. Even when Chainalysis comes back and say things like, oh, well, less than 2% of illicit activities happening in crypto, the government doesn't listen to that. Oh, whatever. Tell me about this tax evasion stuff, okay? Chainalysis came back and said $450,000, and they didn't listen to them. Woo! This was intentional. This was a FUD piece by the Wall Street Journal, which the United States government used to try to push faulty and corrupt legislation. This needs to be called out and discussed. Chainalysis said 450,000. Wall Street Journal wrote an article about less than $1 million of terror funding. Hilarious. The Wall Street Journal's correction stated that PIJ and Lebanese political party Hezbollah may have exchanged. Oh, you got to look. May have exchanged. So this, again, isn't even nearly factual. Up to $12 million in cryptocurrency far less than this initial $93 million figure. Palestinian Islamic Jihad and Hezbollah, this is a quote, may have exchanged up to $12 million in crypto since 2021, may have, according to crypto research firm Elliptic. And earlier, and I guarantee you, because what they said the other day wasn't 12 million. I can't think of the number off the top of my head, but it was less than $1 million. So for them to come back a second or third time now to go from high to low to back to a little high means that they get that phone call and that tap on that shoulder. Elliptic, whether you're right or wrong, we need you to be right with us on this one. All right. Elliptic, do we need to investigate Elliptic? How did you all get your startup? Where did you all get your machines? You got nothing dirty going on? You know how they play, okay? My point is, the Elliptic may have got a tap on the shoulder because last week they didn't even say $12 million. The estimation was lower than that. So to come back and then say 12 million, and again, Chainalysis, who I think we've actually created legislation around some of their findings, Chainalysis said 450K, and we're all of a sudden not listening to them. They have literally been one of the leading crypto forensic analytic firms in the space, in the market, especially ones that, again, the federal government has been using, as well as sites like Cointelegraph, CoinDesk, and so on and so forth. And all of a sudden, their opinion doesn't matter. That's hilarious. Why? Because that number's too low. But again, Chainalysis is saying, hey, 450K may have into a terrorist cell. And now it looks like Elliptic is coming back and saying, at most, we may have $12 million going to terrorism cells. And if either of those numbers are true, let's go ahead and go to $12 million. It's still a bucket for what's going on. I mean, our American government just left like billions of dollars of military equipment and things like that in a foreign country. This is a drop in a bucket. It's not even worth an article to me, unless you're literally just trying to stir the pot, get the narrative going, and get some legislation passed. But the publication said it updated other parts of the article to include additional context about Elliptic's research, but also they really didn't. It's more word soup. I'm not going to go through. If you're interested, you can go ahead and check out Wall Street Journal to see how they corrected it. But again, kind of corrected it. You can see here, Elliptic even put on this X thread. We're pleased to see the Wall Street Journal issue some corrections to their article based on our feedback. While we have liked to see them go further, we will continue to engage constructively. See, they're even saying, yo, they're not telling you the whole story, but this is their professional way of being nice. If they want to be assholes, they could have called them out. Hey, so-and-so at the Wall Street Journal, at the Wall Street Journal, so-and-so at the Wall Street Journal. Why are you still not telling the 100% of the story from the data? You got to remember, people, this isn't Elliptic playing phone tag and then Wall Street Journal playing phone tag with a Russell Rowe. Hey, Wall Street Journal, we heard this. Wall Street Journal, hey, world, we heard this. Hey, world, politicians, no, that's not happening. This is Elliptic saying our data. These are the numbers. These are the X's and O's, the zeros and ones. We cannot change this data. This is real raw data. And this is what the data says. This isn't what Elliptic is saying. This is what the data we research says. And instead of Wall Street Journal and the federal government going off the data, they're still saying, well, technically the findings were this, and Wall Street and Elliptic said this, and said who said that. Stop telling me what everybody said and just post the data, Wall Street Journal, if you're actually telling the truth. But again, they've been caught in a lie, an egregious one. And this kind of shows the level of news that we have these days, even from what's supposed to be sources you're supposedly can trust. Notorious sources like the Wall Street Journal are even pushing out FUD and faulty pieces. So it's unfortunate to see, but that's what we mean. But like, you literally can't even trust the mainstream news at this point. They were caught in a lie. The federal government ran with that lie, and no one's still trying to correct it 100%. Very interesting. Very interesting. PFC Wells said, don't forget, Chainalysis is also in a lawsuit where the defense is questioning the error rate of their analysis software. See, so their shit is not even fully working. Honestly, to me, I don't believe we have software out there that can work 100%. There's 30,000 crypto, like just the amount of different cryptocurrencies to get data points on each cryptocurrency. Say you're gonna get one data point on each cryptocurrency market cap. That's still 30,000 different data points. That is a lot of different data points for different projects, folks. That's a lot. And then you try to add in which wallet's doing that and doing this. And like, wow, people, that is a lot of data points to go into. Like, that's a lot. It's just a lot. So to say that you and your team have already figured it out, I don't think that type of software will be figured out until machine learning and AI is at, like, not at a peak, but just moving strong. When when I'm not the only neighborhood that has robots delivering food and driving around. Okay, like literally, my neighborhood has way more cars. Everybody here can sign up for free and drive in those cars for free right now. So for those who don't know, Waymo is a self-driving car. Literally, no human in there. You just hop in and it takes you to your place. And then we also have Coco, which is the food delivery robots in my neighborhood. Okay, it's happening. Our neighborhood is one of the first in LA to have both of them right now going. It's going to happen. It's going to spread. When that's at a point to where we trust Waymos of the world to not get in any accidents, to drive us there safely, to get us there 5 minutes ahead of time, we pay extra. When we can trust the robots to get here and do this and stop for emergency. I saw one other day, didn't stop for an ambulance. I was like, oh my God, it's going across the street. Ambulance is waiting for it. It's crazy. But when we can trust that, that's when we'll have the correct software available to really read what's happening in crypto fully. I think that's when we get, when the machine learning is at that point, AI and all that stuff is at that point. I think then we'll be able to develop and create software for the crypto space that can do all this analytical stuff we're looking for. But right now, I do think it's still super early to plot all these data points and get back the correct factual picture of what's happening. What you can do right now, what you can do is plot data points and get back information for your narrative. I can spin a narrative and use chain analysis and come out with something that sounds great. The data will match what I say, but to really get a full picture, I think we're so far off. Like, we're just so far off right now when it comes to technology. A robot was giving someone CPR. Hey, almost. No. It was a robot. It's a robot thing that delivers food, but they go off of the lights essentially. But I don't think they've been programmed to stop. Well, I know they haven't been programmed to stop emergency vehicles. I've seen it, so it's crazy. Let's see. PSC Wells said Wall Street Journal sucks at showing any of the on-chain data. A number of the crypto news platforms are also showing less and less on-chain data. That's a trend I've noticed over the year. They know they can't lie with on-chain data. When the numbers are literally in front of people's faces, they cannot lie. So honestly, this is what I mean by self-regulation. This is something that's self-regulatory, that's easy, that the whole market can push. There should be no articles about the blockchain, cryptocurrency, anything that talks about numbers and data and things happening like terrorists. But those articles should not exist without linking or in the article showing the actual blockchain data. If you cannot do it, to me, that's what we should be pushing on regulators. That shit should be super illegal. That's market manipulation at a very widespread level, at a global level, if that, definitely a national level, and it's going unchecked. If anything, that's one of those self-regulatory things we need to think about, where it's like, if you're not going to include blockchain data, then this article should be illegal, since you all want to play that game, right? Like, that's absolutely insane. You can just write whatever you want about a money market, a capital-driven market, and be not like just all the way off base and wrong, and then nothing happens. You're just like, oh, my bad, y'all. Or not even my bad. Oh, man. Yeah. So in all the years of using US dollars for terrorism, are we going to burn those dollars? Exactly. Kaiser said 2 religious cults sending mankind into the sun based on some ancient comic book. You all are terrible, man. I'm telling you, this break, like the laughter. And I'm spiritual too, so but I'm not one of those people who take offense to that. It's just hilarious. Y'all are crazy, man. All right, let's keep moving. We're gonna be talking about Mr. Burns. Gary Gensler is here. He is already reneged. For those who never played spades, you might not know what renege means, but basically renege, and I might have spelled it wrong, but it's basically you say you have something, and then by the end of the game, everyone finds out you didn't have what you said you had. Or I'll take that back. You say you didn't have something, and then by the end of the game, everybody finds out you had it. Well, that's what Gary Gensler said. All right, Gary Gensler's out here reneging. He's claiming right now in 2023, ETF this, ETF that, and blah, blah, blah. But back in the day, he said the same thing we all were thinking. This shit is inconsistent. It doesn't make sense. You don't believe me? Let's listen to him live here. Let's see.
Bitcoin futures and I think Ethereum futures. And
really quick, you can like hold
Bitcoin.
On. The way this guy is even holding the microphone, holy smokes! You're saying Mr. Burns is written all over this guy. Like, look how he's holding the microphone. He's holding the microphone like Mr. Burns. Look at the Mr. Burns hands. Okay, that's Mr. Burns. And this is Gary Gensler. Like, is he doing this intentionally? Holy smokes. This is absolute madness. Hold on. I gotta go back to the tab. Let me go back to the tab. Absolute madness right here. This is why I consider absolute madness. This is the guy we're getting securities advice from. Absolute madness. All right, let's go back and listen to this. I'm done.
Bitcoin futures and I think Ethereum futures and so forth will exist, and Bitcoin ETFs have not. And that feels a little inconsistent to me as an observer, and I'm now in academia, but it feels a little inconsistent. Even though the laws aren't exactly the same, they're quite similar. Bitcoin.
So this was from 2019 while Gary Gensler was at a MIT Bitcoin Expo. He called out the securities regulator, the SEC in general, he wasn't there yet, for its inconsistent approach to spot Bitcoin ETFs. I'm not going to go through the whole article. You heard the clip, but essentially he said Bitcoin futures and I think Ethereum futures and so forth will exist. And it's funny he said that because, he added Ethereum. So, okay, because I was about to say Bitcoin futures were already around at that time, but he added some more and so forth will exist. And Bitcoin ETFs have not. And that feels a little inconsistent to me. It feels a little inconsistent, said Gary Gensler. And then he got hired to SEC and he kept and continued and even made the inconsistencies even like just broader, right? A wider range of inconsistencies since he's been a part of the SEC. So my biggest thing for this is how and why. What changed? As an MIT professor of blockchain tech and everything else, he was intelligent enough and to see that, hey, while these laws are a little bit different, they're pretty similar and there's a lot of inconsistencies of why we don't have a Bitcoin ETF. Then he gets into office and we don't have a Bitcoin ETF and things get even more inconsistent. So we know he's not operating from his own personal frame. Like I think we can assume that and just from looking at this, unless he received new information that really changed his mind, which, I mean, what is he, 60? He changed his mind about all this information at the age of 60. Unless you got like some top secret shit, which I don't see the SEC getting some type of TS file that all of a sudden, oh my God, we need to change the way we do securities. Like, I don't see that. So exactly, that's what I'm going to, Price Cobbs. He dances to the tune of his employers. That's where I was going. Who's actually employing Gary Gensler? Is it the American government, the federal government, the Biden administration that's putting the battery in his back? Or is it the bankers, the Wall Street? Like, who is it? I don't know who it is, but I think this is clear enough to say someone has manipulated Gary Gensler. He is corrupted. We just don't know by whom and why. But it is very clear that this is the case. You don't go like literally, people. I won't even go. I'm about to be 36. You can't change my mind about some shit in the next a month that I've been screaming the last 30 years. Like, you have to show me something incredibly different for me to be like, oh man, I was way off on that one. Like, no, are you crazy? So you're mean to tell me this guy went all the way up to 2019 as an MIT professor at a very high level. So you're instructing others who are going to be working at a very high level and will be somebody's in this country. You're at that level. You have your mindset and made up. You're 50 something, 60 years old, and you're preaching this at MIT. And then within a year, you do a 180. Nah, not believing it. I'm not believing it at all. And yes, S1 Dubs, what's going on from Toronto? This is what I hate. And what I tell you is always the weak people telling us what to do. S1 Dubs said, limp wristed, looks like he has no grip pressure at all. Exactly. You got a limp wrist telling them what to do in crypto. Jake said, I'm a jit still. You funny as a Jake. I'm a triple, double, triple. I should be gone 3 times, man. It's my third life right now, man. All right. But yeah, that's Gary Gensler doing some reneging and confusing people per usual. All right. Last but not least, because I wanted to end this on a great news day. And man, oh man, I'm being facetious when I say this. Kraken will share data of 42,000 users with the IRS. I'm not mad at them. Only because they held out as long as possible. I will get like Kraken. They've been trying to get this up off of Kraken since 2016. Easy. So I'm not mad at Kraken because they did hold out as long as possible. But hey, eventually them punches start hurting. You're not healing up the same way every day. And look, the bully been beating you up for 4 years straight. Hey, Kraken finally came to school and said, y'all got it. All right. Hey, I'm sorry. Oh man. Listen, Kraken, you fought a hard fight, and everyone else is probably gonna follow your suit. But Kraken finally came to school 9 a.m. They didn't even wait till lunch, and they just handed over the money. They was like, I don't even want to do this today. Like, something's happening in the background. Life is jacked. I don't even want to go through this. Just take the money, man. That's what Kraken said. Just take the money, man. All right, like y'all got it. What else do you want? And this is what I mean by you give an inch, they take a mile. They've been trying to do this since 2016. They finally did it. inching and clawing, regulation after regulation, lawsuit after lawsuit, going after a CEO here or a COO there at Kraken. The government finally did it. That's right, government. You finally taken down American-based companies as well, or companies that are doing business in America for the American people. You're doing it. There we go. Shout out to American government for making our life even more harder than it has to be. Kraken will share data of 42,000 users with the IRS. You think they want to do that? You think this is good for their business? No and no. The information will be sent to the IRS in early November. I thought some folks had to 2026. I guess not. U.S.-based exchange Kraken said will share the 42,000, the data of 42,000 users with the U.S. Internal Revenue Service (IRS) in compliance with the court order. The information will be sent to IRS in early November. I mean, just man, the United States, we're making it so that oh no, I forgot. We're doing what we're supposed to do. We're trying to turn ourselves into socialists, something, right? Give away free money and free school and everything. This is actually the right track. Destroy businesses who are doing their own thing, make them give away all their personal data and information, even though we're not like fucking fully auditing the Federal Reserve and things like that. But yeah, do it with a crypto company, get rid of these, and then people will be so weak and so beat down and so tired. They say we have no choice but to use a bank. We have no choice but to use our government. I get it. We have no choice but to get that stimulus check from our government. You all have to feed us. I understand fully of what's happening here. It's just a shame that Kraken had to go through it. On its support page, Kraken specifies that the summons to produce a wide range of records and data on its U.S. clients and pass it to the IRS came in a court order from the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of California in May 2021. I tell you what, if these courts and people were so concerned about customer protection and terrorism, as they say, they wouldn't even be asking for the customer data of United States citizens. They would say, we don't care about the U.S. citizens. We want citizens from all the troubled countries we have, but they're not doing that because they really don't care about terrorism and the funding of it. They care about controlling as much as they can control. Why do you want the IRS data of U.S. citizens when you're looking for terrorists in crypto? I'm not. What are we doing? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? What else is going on? The company objected to the IRS's demands and fought the summons in court, convincing it to substantially reduce the number of clients affected and the amount of client data. So this is a reduction. What did they want the first time that, by the way, they're going to end up getting anyway, another year or two, another couple court orders. At this point, you should just charge the government and say, look, we give you everything right now for another $3 million or whatever. Just charge the government because they're going to get it. The court ordered Kraken to present profile and transaction data for clients who exceeded 20K in transactions during any single year from 2016 to 2020. Oh, they about to have my ass all through there. Listen, that's funny. That also includes those who made no transactions but deposits and withdrawals. And again, this is why we got those new 86,000 IRS agents. Kraken will share data such as names, dates of birth, tax IDs, addresses, contact info, and transaction history of the affected customers. Reportedly, there will be around 42,000 accounts whose information will get sent to IRS. Wow. That's what it is. They're talking about appeals and all this other stuff. It's happening, people. It's going to happen. The gang going to be a gang, and they're going to do gang shit. So what happens next? Who had money back in 2016? You didn't pay Uncle Sam? We're going to kidnap you and either, we're going to kidnap you for forever in prison, or we're just going to kill you if you refuse. That's what's about to happen over money. You got to love it. Over money from 2016, our government is about to put resources to kidnapping its own citizens or killing them if they don't go along with the kidnapping. You got to love it. Hand clap. We're not going to take it. I'd rather be a martyr for the people, honestly. I'd literally rather it be a headline news story that says ex-naval officer was killed because he didn't want to get kidnapped and sent to jail by the government over petty money when they're stealing shit left and right. I'd rather literally die and be on the front page. I don't make this up. All right. Can't do it. We're not going to take it over here. Kaiser said America isn't what it used to be. This is crazy. Or it is, right? Gang, man. We've been a big gang. America started off being a gang. We was like, hey, we ain't paying y'all British. And that's what we did. We killed a bunch of people who gave us a way to a new land. We killed the people who gave us a way to a new land because we didn't want to pay them. And then we started taxing his own people. You got to love it. Let's see. The money is effed up. When you start fixing the money, you can truly start fixing other problems. Bitcoin fixes the money. So the powers that be are spooked that their fake money power is over. You already know. That's what's up. All right. Other than that, that is the show for the day. One more day. Tomorrow's Halloween. Have a spooky Halloween. You can see in the bottom corner, they already started the spooky Halloween designs here. Again, right now, this news cycle has been crazy slow, people. So I would definitely love to come on and do some shows if something pops. But if it's just another slow day, I'm going to have to wait until Wednesday to see you all again. Other than that, make sure you smash that like and share. And I will see you all possibly Wednesday with some more news.